Hello and welcome to the Wisdom and Knowledge broadcast. I'm your host, Jason Hevner, and today we're here to talk about personality, one of my favorite topics. Okay, so, last Sunday I did a broadcast an interview with the church safety guys. That was pretty cool. Check it out if you want to. I posted it and they have a post of it up, so check that out if you're interested. Also, this is a little bit different. I don't usually show my hardware that I'm using, but I just bought this. Check this mouse out, huh? This has got like 1, 2, 3, 4. I can put all these buttons. They're on my mouse. I got this rolling thing. Cool. I use OBS Studios to do these broadcasts. OBS Studios. And I want to be able to change scenes and things a little easier. So I'll have to see how that goes. So, remember this last broadcast on last Thursday? We talked about the signs of TE versus TI. Well, I really liked how that turned out as far as explaining the judgment functions, right? The judgment functions. There are all these white signs if they're extroverted or objective judgment functions, and they're introverted if they're subjective judgment functions. And I really want to find the next amazing illustration for sensing and intuition, but I haven't found it yet. I'm so frustrated. I spent this whole week, not this whole week, but probably a good solid 9 hours, not together, but throughout the week, really trying to meditate on how am I going to illustrate with the same level of accuracy, the sensing or knowing functions. Like sensing, to know something, you have to have intuition and sensing. So I didn't come up with it. So instead, in the interim, we're going to talk about ENTPs, and in particular, we're going to talk about intuition. See, I'm an ENFP here, right? So it's near and dear to my heart, intuition, especially objective intuition. Like, I see the whole world this way. And in particular, the ENTPs, NE intuition. We're kind of like personality cousins, right? We both have NE. We both see the world kind of the same way. But the ENTP, they're going to see it a little more, they're going to judge it more logically, and I'm going to judge it more with my values first. Wisdom needs both, but they're going to use their logic first, and I'm going to use my values first. But we're both looking at the NE objective intuition. So I'm going to actually challenge you to, if you know me, and you know the people I know, some of the friends that I know. So the broader audience won't really appreciate this as much, but my more local audience would. I know 2 male ENFPs, and I'm going to give you a clue, and you can use your intuition as to who these male ENTPs are. So I'll do that just by showing a picture here, and I'll show a picture here. In these 2 pictures, it demonstrates, if you know the people that I know, some ENTPs. Isn't that cool? All right, so those 2 guys are kind of like this guy right here, okay? This is our hero in a movie called The Princess Bride. And I don't know if you have seen this movie or not, or if you enjoy it or not, but this guy right here is an ENTP. And we're gonna watch a very short clip showing how he's using his NE dominant function, okay? So here he is right here, an ENTP. He's going to use an objective intuition, and he's going to be using it with logic. So if you know anybody like this, oops, wrong picture. Oops. If you know anybody like this, you might see some parallels, okay? You might not, but you might. It's theatrical. It's a little over the top, but it's cool. All right, so this guy right here, actually, go back here. This guy right here is a swordsman. They're both swordsmen. He's just a strong fighter. Okay, so ENTP, high intuition. We're going to watch a sequence that are on this battle wall, and they want to take over a castle. Okay, so he's going to explain the situation. This guy, if you've seen the movie, he was tortured. It wasn't gruesome or anything. It was kind of sort of a funny scene, but anyways, he was tortured and is basically lifeless. He's going to be very, very limp and useless from an S standpoint, but he's going to still be wanted for his intuition, right? Intuition is in the mind. Sensing, like this guy, his intuition might be good, but in particular, we want his S strength. This guy right here, combination of intuition and sensing. Right now, all of his sensing functions, his whole body's gonna be limp and useless, but we've got his mind, and you'll see that in this next sequence. Let's watch it.
So all we have to do is get in, break up the wedding, steal the princess, make our escape. After I kill Count Rugen.
There doesn't leave much time for dilly-dallying.
You just wiggle your finger. That's wonderful.
I've always been a quick eater. What are our liabilities?
There is but one working Castle Gate. Come on.
Okay, he just said what, because now he's going to want to know objectively. He wants to know objectively, right? And because he's an ENTP, all right, he's going to need to use sensing. We all have to use sensing to know something, but he's going to be more reliant or dependent on his intuition to know. So he's going to be a little bit short on this side and a little bit light on this side and heavy on this side, okay? Go back. Here we go.
And it is guarded 60 men.
And our assets?
Your brains. Fez's strength. I steal.
That's it? Impossible. If I had a month to plan, maybe I could come up with something, but this.
Okay, so he just said, the black curly-haired fellow said, your brain, okay, there's the NE part. My steel, that's a sensory part, or sensory dominant part. His strength, the big guy's strength, Andre the Giant's strength. And so this guy's saying, look, you just gave me our assets. If I had a month to plan, maybe, all right? He said, my NE, I need more physical things to work with to puzzle together. So the NE is still using the sensory world. Don't think it's always all up in the head. They have to use their five senses. But it's like once you've given me, they fill in all the details. They just want more, but he needs more information. You can't just expect it to come out of thin air, all right? So he's like, look, we can't get into this castle with just my brain, your steel, and Andre the Giant's strength. So let's watch the next part of this.
You just shook your head. That doesn't make you happy?
My brains, his steel, and your strength against 60 men, and you think a little head jiggle is supposed to make me happy?
I mean, if we only had a wheelbarrow, that would be something.
There's the NE. Now, if we only had a wheelbarrow, that would be something. If we only had a wheelbarrow, now that would be something. Okay? Now, guys like me, guys who are ENTPs or ENFPs, and to some degree, NE down here, NE down here, he said, what are our assets? And then he said, like, oh man, if only we had a wheelbarrow to attack this castle with, right? What's going to happen is, well, just watch what happens.
Where do we put that wheelbarrow the albino had?
Over the albino, I think.
Why didn't you list that among our assets in the first place?
Why didn't you list the wheelbarrow among our assets in the first place? Like, don't tell me what's available that makes sense to you, Mr. Curly black-haired guy and strong Andre the Giant. List the assets objectively, and I'll figure out what to do with them. Just tell me if we've got a wheelbarrow. Now, this is a joke, right? It's a movie. Haha, it's funny. But the thing is like you give us the all of the stuff, and we'll put it together. And don't judge us while we're trying to put it together. Don't say, well, a wheelbarrow wouldn't work. A wheelbarrow wouldn't work. Yeah, that's what you think, you S-dominant folks. Yeah, a wheelbarrow, maybe SEs might, because they're objective. Don't constrict us when we're trying to use the NE. Allow us to make those crazy things. And obviously it's very humorous, but he's like, why didn't you list the wheelbarrow among our assets?
What I wouldn't give for a Holocaust cloak.
There we cannot help you.
What this do?
How did you get that?
At Mercor Max's. It fits so nice, I could keep it.
All right. Come on, help me out. Now, I'll need a sword eventually.
Why? You can't even lift one.
True, but that's hardly common knowledge, is it?
Okay, there's the last bit we'll watch. He's getting ready to go in. He goes, now I'll need a sword eventually. And he's like, concrete now. Why? You can't even lift a sword. Right? He's like, true. But that's hardly common knowledge. Okay, so knowledge is S and knowledge is N. And he's saying it's not common knowledge. So S-dominant people won't know that I'm in the situation that I'm in. So, and potentially N-dominant people as well. So give me the sword and at least I'll be a threat. People won't attack me. And so we're watching somebody else's creative content. I just want to be careful not to use too much of it. I'm just trying to show specifically NE from an ENTP. And I think you've seen it. Yeah, the movie is The Princess Bride. He says a couple bad words in the very, very end of the show. Something you could think about if you're going to watch it with kids. Other than that, pretty decent movie. Some sword fighting and all that good stuff. So, that's it. I've got to figure out a way to show some the knowledge functions, and we'll figure it out. But for right now, you got to enjoy some NE dominant interactions and see how it's working out. It's crazy stuff, right? If only we had a wheelbarrow. But that's how NE works. It's puzzling together things, and got to respect it. It's half of the knowledge. And NE dominant or objective NE has that kind of like, why didn't you tell me we had a wheelbarrow available? It's when it's objective, you kind of feel like that should be if you knew about a wheelbarrow, why didn't you tell me, right? So NE objective is kind of like a little, not snarky, but it can be close because you think, hey, it's objective, everybody should know about it. But everybody doesn't know about it. It's a pretty rare function to have as the highest function. So anyway, you know the ENTPs that I know, and there they are. And we're gonna, I guess we're gonna end the broadcast there. Short one today, and hopefully next week we'll get to sensing and intuition, get some better signs and that kind of thing for it. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you watched the video by hitting the like button, or if you don't want to hit the like button, just say, come on, I want better content, and type that in there or something. Just let me know somebody's out there watching. I see some views occasionally, and I appreciate those. So thanks a lot.